everybody, this is Crystal. So today I am going to show you how to make this. You can make it a shawl because you can make it as big as you want. I used one of them whirl cakes, so I just used it until it was finished, and this is what it looks like. Man, oh man, that is some pretty stuff. But so mine end up. I'll tell you about the yardage and everything that I use. I'll tell you the size now. From one corner to the other is 48 inches. From here to the top down to the point is 22, and then from one corner all the way down to the point is 33. You can make this as big or as small as you want. So this is actually not a hard project to do. It is a 2-row repeat, and as you can see, there are some posts in it. Now the hardest part of this, and it's not even hard, is a front post triple crochet. If you can do a front post triple, you got this, no problem, because the rest is just double and single. And I know if you know how to do the front post triple, you can do a double and a single. So if you're a beginner, please give it a go. You can do it. I know that you can. Trust me, I know it. You have the ability to do it. Beginner, advanced, anybody can do this. And look how beautiful it is. Just imagine the color combos you can come up with, or even just one solid color. Doesn't matter, it's going to be beautiful. Let's go ahead and get started on this. Okay, for this project I'm going to be using, now I cannot pronounce this at all, Scheepjes. It's a Dutch brand of yarn. Whirl and Fine Arts Merino blend. Now it is a DK weight, which is a lightweight number 3. It's 50% super fine merino, 25 microfiber, and 25 acrylic. Let's see here. There are 460 meters here, so just about a little over 500 yards. I'm going to use this entire cake to make mine. Now, so you've seen how big that made. You can make yours bigger if you want. You do not have to use this brand of yarn. You can use, you don't even have to use a 3-weight. It's a very versatile pattern. So, you can use the 3-weight like me. You can use a 4-weight if you want. You can use a 5-weight if you want. But remember, I don't know how much yarn you'll need for a 4 and a 5-weight, but that's what I'm using for mine. About 500 yards of a 3-weight gets as big as I showed you. Now for the 3-weight that I'm using, I'm going to be using a size H, which is a 5mm crochet hook. Now if you use a 4-weight, I would use an I, which is a 5.5, and if you use a bulky 5-weight, I would use a 6mm. Okay, so that's just my recommendations. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start off. Pull this out of here. Okay, and we're gonna start off with a slip knot on our hook. Now we're going to work a chain of 4, and then we're going to slip stitch back into the first stitch to form a ring. Now if you prefer to use the magic circle here, that would be fine. So now we got our ring here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to work a chain of 4. That counts as a triple crochet. And then I'm going to work 1 more chain. So it's a total of a chain of 5. The chain 4 counts as a triple crochet, and then the chain 1 just counts as, the other chain just counts as a chain 1. Now I'm going to work through the ring here, and I'm going to work 3 double crochets right through the center of the ring. So there's 1, 2, and there's 3. Now I'm going to work a chain of 3, and that's going to be the point of our shawl. And then I'm going to work 3 more doubles through the center of the ring. 1, 2, and 3. And then I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to triple crochet through the center of the ring. So I'm going to yarn over twice for the triple and go into the center and do my triple crochet. And that will end round 1. So you can pull your tail, close up that circle a bit more, but at the end we can sew it together more. So that's going to end round 1. Now what we have there is we did chain 4, which counted as a triple crochet, and then we added 1 more for a total of chain 5. So it was a triple crochet plus a chain 1. Then we did 3 doubles. We chained 3, which is our point. 3 doubles, and then we chained 1, and then we did our triple crochet. Now we're going to start row 2. So row 2, we are going to start off again with a chain of 4 plus 1. So a chain of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the 4 counts as a triple crochet, and then the chain 1 just counts as a chain 1, and we're going to turn our work like that. Now we're going to work in this chain 1 space right here. We're going to work 3 double crochets. So there's 1, and there's 2, and there's 3. Now we're going to do a chain of 1. We're going to skip this group of 3 here, and we're going to work right here in this chain 3 space, which is the point of our shawl. And we're going to go into it, and we're going to work 3 double crochets. This is what we always work in the point. 3 doubles. A chain of 3. And then we work 3 more doubles into the same chain space. Like that. Now we need to make this side match this side. So we're going to start off with a chain of 1. And then we're going to be working in this space here. Remember, we did the chain 5. 4 chains counted as a triple crochet, and 1 just counted as a chain 1. So we're just going to go right through this space, and we're going to work 3 double crochets. So there's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. Okay, so then we want to chain 1. Now this might get a little tricky here, but it's not really that hard. Well, we just need to move your set of 3 double crochets over, and we're going to do a triple crochet in the 4th chain of this chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and triple crochet into that spot, and that will end row 2. So what we have now at the end of row 2 is 4 sets of 3 double crochet. Row 1 we had 2 sets. So let's go ahead and start row 3. Now row 3 and 4 are going to be the repeat rows for the whole shawl. So we're going to start out row 3 by chaining 5. So the chain 4 is the triple crochet, and then the 5th is the chain 1, and turn our work. Now we're going to work right back into this chain 1 space right here, and we're going to work 3 double crochets. So there's 1, 2, and there's 3. Now we are going to chain 1, and we are going to skip this set of 3 double crochets. Now we're going to be working in this chain 1 space, and we're also going to work 1 stitch down here in this group of 3. So we're going to go ahead and remember to chain 1 after that group of 3 double crochet. Skip this group. Now we're going to work 1 double crochet into this chain space. And now we're going to work a front post triple crochet down here in the middle stitch of this group of 3. So we're going to yarn over 2 times, like we're going to do a triple crochet. We're going to go way down here to this set of 3, and we're going to go around the post of the middle stitch like that. So we're not in the top of it, we're in the post, and we're going to go ahead and do a triple crochet like normal, but we're just working it around the post like that. And now we're going to go back into this chain space that we put our first double crochet into and put 1 more double crochet. There we go. So what we did there was a double crochet in the chain space, and then we came all the way down and did a front post triple, and then we did another double crochet into the chain space. Now we're going to chain 1, and we're going to skip our next set of 3, and then we're going to be in our chain 3 space. So in our chain 3 space, we always do the same thing. We work 3 double crochets. There's 1, 2, and 3, and then we work a chain of 3 and work 3 more doubles into that same spot. 1, 2, and 3. So now we just need to make both sides match. So we are going to chain 1, skip this next set of 3, and we're going to be working into that chain 1 space. So we're going to put 1 double crochet into that chain 1 space. And now we're going to go down, excuse me, and we're going to work a front post triple crochet in the middle double crochet of that group of 3 from the previous row. So right down here, so yarn over twice for a triple crochet, go in around the post of that middle stitch from the previous row, and then go ahead and do your triple crochet. It's just like normal, except for we're doing it around the post of the stitch, just like that. And then we're going to go ahead and put 1 more double crochet into the chain 1 space, just like that. Now we're going to chain 1, and we're going to put 3 double crochets here on the end. See where this is our chain 5. Go right in there in between the chain 5 and our that first 3 doubles, and put 3 double crochets. There's 1, 2, and 3, and then you chain 1. And now we pull them over so we can see, and we want to put a triple, we want to end by putting a triple crochet in the 4th chain of our beginning chain 5. Just like that. Okay, so for row 4 now, so at the end of row 3, you should have 1, 2, 3, 6 groups of 3 stitches. So we're going to start row 4 by doing our chain of 5, which the chain 4 counts as a triple, and then the other chain is the chain 1, and then we're going to turn our work. So we're going to work 3 double crochets right here into the very first chain space. There's 1, 2, and 3, and then we are going to chain 1. We're going to skip the next 3 stitches, and in this chain space we're going to work 3 double crochets. There's 1, 2, 3, chain 1, skip the next set of 3 here, and in the next chain 1 space we're going to work 3 double crochets right through the space. There's 1, 2 and 3, and then we're going to chain 1, and then we're at our chain 3 space, which is the point, and we always make that the same. We're going to work 3 double crochets. So there's 1, 2 and 3, and then we're going to work a chain of 3. 1, 2, 3, and we're going to go back into that same chain space and work 3 more double crochets. So there's 1, 2 and 3. Now we need to make this side look like this side. So we start out by chaining 1, skipping the next 3 group of 3 stitches there, and into the next chain 1 space we work 3 double crochets. Chain 1, skip the next group of 3 and work 3 doubles into the next chain 1 space, and you would just do this until you got to the end of your row here. Chain 1, and then when you get to the end, this big chain space here, at the end we work 3 double crochets into it. And then we chain 1, and then we're going to need to work, pull them 3 double crochets back, and we're going to need to work a triple crochet in the 4th chain of this beginning chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and triple crochet, and that will end row 4. And now you should have a total of 8 groups of 3 stitches. Now this is the back side of our work. So what we're going to do is repeat rows 3 and 4. And every time you finish a row, you will gain 2 more sets of 3 stitches. So for row 5, let's go ahead and do repeat rows 3 and 4 for rows 5 and 6. So I'm going to start row 5, which is a repeat of row 3. So we'll start off with our chain 5. So the chain 4 is a triple crochet, and then the chain 1, and then we're going to turn our work, which is the front side of our work. The front side of our work has the post stitches. And the more rows you do, the more the post stitches will become visible, and you'll be able to see them a lot more. So we're going to start out by putting 3 double crochet into the very first space here, very first chain 1 space. So there's 1, 2, and 3, and then we're going to chain 1. We're going to skip this next set of 3 stitches, and in this chain 1 space we're going to work where we work the front post triple crochet. So we're going to work 1 double crochet into that chain space, and then we are going to yarn over twice and do a front post triple into the middle stitch of the group of 3 from the previous row. And then we do another regular double crochet into that same chain space, so we have 3 stitches there. And then we chain 1, and then we skip our next group of 3, and in the next chain 1 space we're going to do this again. So we're going to work 1 double crochet, and we're going to work a front post triple in the middle stitch of the group of 3 from the previous row. But if you look, you can see that we did a front post triple on our last round right here. So just go around that front post triple just like that and do the front post triple. So your posts will always line up like that. See that? And then we're going to go ahead and do a double crochet into that same chain 1 space. So we have 3 stitches, chain 1, skip this group of 3, and the next chain 1 space we're going to do it again. We're going to put 1 double, front post triple into the middle stitch of the group of 3 from the previous row, and then one more double into the same chain space, because we need to have 3 stitches. Then we chain 1, and then we skip the next group of 3, and we're at our point, our chain 3 space. So we're going to go ahead and work 3 doubles. There's 1, 2, 3, chain of 3, I'm sorry, chain 3, and 3 more doubles. Okay, now we need to make this side look like this side. So we're going to chain 1, skip our first group of 3 stitches, and in the next chain 1 space we're going to work 1 double, a front post triple in the middle stitch of the group of 3 from the previous row, and then another double crochet in that same chain space. So we'll have our 3 stitches there in that space. Chain 1, skip our next set of 3, and then in the chain space we work a double crochet, a front post triple in the middle stitch from the previous row, and you can see that there is a post stitch there from the previous row, so just front post triple around that post stitch. We're just keeping our post stitches lined up, and then another double crochet into that same chain space, chain 1, skip this next group of 3, and in the next chain 1 space again we do a double crochet, a front post triple into the middle stitch of the group of 3 from the previous row, and then another double crochet into that same chain space, chain 1. And here we are at the end, so we're going to skip the last set of 3 stitches, and in the chain space we're going to work 3 double crochets. There's 1, 2, and 3, chain 1, and then we are going to do a triple crochet in the 4th stitch of our beginning chain 5. That'll end around 5, and you can see that the posts are becoming more visible. And the more rows you do, you know, they'll get longer. They'll get longer. Your posts will start stacking on top of each other, and you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 groups of 3 stitches at the end of row 5. You'll have 2 more than you did the previous row. So for row 6, we're just going to repeat what we did on row 4. So we are going to chain 5, turn our work, and we're going to work 3 double crochets into our very first chain space, chain 1, skip the group of 3, we're going to work 3 double crochets into our next chain 1 space, chain 1, skip our next group of 3 stitches, 3 double crochets into our next chain 1 space. So when we're working on the back side of our work, like we're doing now, we do not do any post stitches. Chain 1, skip our next group of 3, and work 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space. Only on the front of our work do we work the front post triple. Then you chain 1, skip your next group of 3, and you work 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space, and you just do this until you get to your point, the chain 3 of your point. So I'm going to chain 1, and skip these last 3 stitches before the point, and at the point, the chain 3 space, it's always the same. It's 3 double crochets, a chain of 3, don't split your yarn like me, and then 3 more double crochets. and then we are going to chain 1 and do over here what we did on the opposite side here. So we're going to skip our first group of 3, and the next chain 1 space we are going to work 3 doubles. Chain 1, skip your next set of 3, and in the chain 1 space you work 3 doubles. Chain 1, next skip your next group of 3, and in the next chain 1 space 3 doubles. Chain 1, and you just skip your next group of 3, chain or 3 doubles in your next chain 1 space. Do this till you get to the end of your row, and then when you get to the end, don't forget to chain 1, skip your last 3 stitches, work 3 doubles into that big chain space at the end. Chain 1, and then you work a triple crochet in the 4th stitch of your beginning chain 5. And that will end around 6, and you'll have a total of 12 sets of 12 groups of 3 stitches. So that's it. We're just going to keep repeating rows 3 and 4, or rows 5 and 6. They're both the same. They just keep getting larger. Remember, every row will have 2 more sets of 3 stitches than the previous row. And the front of your work has the post stitches. And like I said, the more rows you do, the more you'll get more posts, and they'll become more visible, and you'll be able to see the stitch properly a lot better. It's really cool, so I think anyways. So I'm going to continue repeating those 2 rows so I get this as big as I want it to be. Remember, the front side is the only side that you do front post triples. When you're working the back side of your work, you don't do any triples. No post stitches at all. It's only doubles. Alright, so been working on my shawl here for a while now, and I am down to my last row. So I went all the way down until I just had a little bit of yarn left, and I'm going to finish it off with just a row of single crochet around the whole edge. If you want to put fringe, would look really good, like in between here, anything like that. It really depends on what yarn you're using. Since I don't have a lot left in my cake, I really don't have enough to put any fringe, so I'm going to go with just a row of single crochet to finish it off. So I actually have done a total of 31 rows. Remember, you make yours as big as you want. Mine's not extremely big because the cake wasn't huge, but I'll show you what I'm going to do here on my last row. So I'm going to take my yarn. So I just finished, it was a row here where I didn't do any front post triple crochets. So what I'm going to do on the final row, once you get yours as big as you want to do, and if you just want to do the simple single crochet like I'm doing, I'm going to chain 1, this is my finishing row, and turn my work. So now I'm on the front side, so you can see the posts there. You want to be on the front side of your work. And what I'm going to do is single crochet right back into this very, very first stitch here. And then I'm going to single crochet into that chain 1 space. And I'm going to single crochet in every stitch and in every chain 1 space all the way down. So here's my chain 1 space. I'm just going to go right through it and single crochet all the way down until I get to the point of my shawl. So this is kind of a cleanup edge that I'm doing. I would have liked to have a little bit more yarn because I probably would have put fringe on it, but that's okay. I think it's still going to be pretty, nice and clean. Clean edge is always nice. So I'm going to continue 1 single in every stitch and in every chain 1 space until I get down there to the chain 3 space, which is the point of my shawl, and that's where I'll meet back up with you. A nice clean edge there. Alright, so I've made it down here to the chain 3 space, or the point of the shawl. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put 5 single crochets through that space. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. If you need to scoot them over, that's fine. And there's 5. And now I'm going to start again by putting 1 single crochet into every stitch and into every chain 1 space, because now we're working up on the opposite side. And remember, we have to make this side over here look like this side, just like before. So I'll just continue doing the same thing. 1 single in every stitch and every chain 1 space until we make it back up to the top. And I'll meet you back up there. Looking good. Okay, I've made it to the top, and right here is where the chain 5 space. I'm going to go in and I'm going to do a single crochet into the space and then 1 single crochet into the chain 4 of this chain 5. We're pretty close to it. I'm going to do my best to get that spot. There we go. Now I am going to tie my yarn off. Oh, let's look at it now. Now we will look. Oh, it's pretty. Let's pull up my camera so you can see it better. What do you think about that? That is some gorgeous, gorgeous yarn. This is not a yarn that I normally use because it's it's more money than what I like to pay for yarns, but my husband gave it to me for Valentine's Day, so I'm going to use it. If you want to take, if you have any yarn left over, I have a bit. You can go across the top and clean up that edge with single crochet if you want. Just remember, well, I'm not going to do that because all I have left is this little bit and it won't match up very well. So, but I think it looks fine the way it is. You can block your shawl if you want. I never block anything. But I think it turned out very, very pretty, but I really do like brown and orange. Those are some of my favorite, or brown and yellow, golds like this. Those are some of my favorite colors. So I hope you enjoyed my tutorial and I hope you were able to follow along. If you make this, I'd really like to see a picture of it. You know, you can post a picture. Come follow me on Instagram. There's a link below. #Bagoday crochet, and I'll check it out. Anything you make, actually. You knit, anything you knit. I like to see all that kind of stuff. Any new yarn hauls, tag me in it. I like all that kind of stuff. And don't forget to hit the thumbs up, subscribe, so you don't miss any of my videos. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a good day.